care to admit.
So how did I get started? That car right there, the Batmobile.
Really?
Batman came on TV in '66 and the Batmobile was there, and I'm like, wow, look at that. I want one of those. So, and back when we were all kids, cars were part of television. They were as much a personality as the personalities were, if not sometimes even more. In '67, when I was 8 years old, I remember going down to the Chevy plant and taking the tour down there and watching them making Corvettes. So cars were always a passion. Back when we were kids, we put them together as model cars. We played with Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels came out in '67, '68, so I started playing with those when I was a kid. Cars were always a passion, but you know, I followed through the family tradition, went to school for design, got my master's in fine art, and I was a studio artist for 10 years. But then I got married. So I say I came out of retirement to get married, and then I had to find something to do to put bread on the table on a weekly basis. And this thing called eBay started, and that was '98. Which is right when I got married, and I had, previous to that, I always put cars on Hemmings Motor News. You know, that was the Bible of the industry. You get the, everybody's seen it, right? In fact, my first car I sold on Hemmings was a '61 flat floor E-Type. I think I bought that car for right around 35 or so, maybe put 5 in it. And a gentleman called me up from England and said, "Do you still have your Jaguar?" I said, "Oh, sure." He flew in and bought that car. Then fast forward 10 years, and that's when eBay came out. And so I had a Di Tommaso Pantera at the time, and I think I had a Maserati, I think it was a Mirror. I had 3 cars. At that time, I was dealing out of my driveway. You know, I didn't have a dealer's license. I'd buy one car, I'd pay the taxes, and in Missouri, you know, if you pay the tax on the one car, you sell the car, you have a tax credit. And so I just rolled them and dealt out of my driveway. And I did 6, 8 cars a year and was happy. Well, then this eBay thing started, and I had an affinity for cowboy boots, and I was starting to sell cowboy boots on eBay. And I said, well, if you can sell cowboy boots, why can't you sell a car? And so I put my Pantera on there, and lo and behold, somebody said, "I'm interested in your car." And he drove in and drove that thing back to, I think it was New Jersey. So then I kind of stopped all the other things I was doing and started selling cars full time. And so I went from 3 cars to 6 cars, 6 to 8. My dad had a friend that owned that building right next door there, and he had a defunct dealership. He had a construction company that he was running all of his equipment and stuff through the dealership. So he really wasn't real active in it. So I came in and it's like do things as a dealership, and that's kind of how he started as a dealer. And then this building came available in '04, and we've been down here ever since. So, and the biggest hurdles that we have to get over is, you know, while the baby boomers understand and grew up with them, it's the 30-year-old, the millennials that think it's going to be hip to have an old car, and then they get one, and they're like, well, the air doesn't really blow cold. This thing pulls to the right. How come I can't start it in cold weather? You know, and so we have to educate them because they've seen them, they think it's interesting, but they don't know what it's like to own one. And so if you don't have a friend that knows how to work on it, you're going to have to find somebody. And I will tell you, it is hard to find anybody to work on these cars today. It's hard to find anybody to work. Period. 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 We were looking for detailers, we're looking for mechanics. I can't find a younger guy to rebuild a carburetor. Don't even, you know, oh, I heard about carburetor. And it's not the hardest thing to do, but it's a really detailed job. But we've raised a whole generation of children because they don't care about cars, and then they're going to take the reins and be in charge. Well, who are they going to get to do all these jobs that they don't want to do?